Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal and welcome to a very, very empty London Stadium. Kind of looked like this about 25 minutes to go here today, just like it did last season, because Arsenal have absolutely walloped West Ham yet again at the London Stadium. Didn't quite get the 6 they got last season, just having to settle for 5, all scored in a pretty remarkable first half here. Second half it was very much cruise control. Both teams kind of going through the motions, waiting for full time. After, that dramatic first 45 minutes, 7 goals scored, only the 4th time in Premier League history that 7 goals have been scored before half-time in a game. Arsenal scoring 5 of them. That's 13 goals in the space of a week now for Arsenal, 3 wins. It's been a very, very good 7 days for Mikel Arteta's rejuvenated side, and they were excellent in the first half here today. They did give West Ham a couple of goals, although having said that, the first goal was a bit sloppy that West Ham scored. I think Leandro Trossard got caught out, Calafiori got caught a bit square. It was a good finish by Saka. The second goal was obviously a brilliant free kick by Emerson, but it was never a free kick. How on earth Declan Rice was penalised for that? He just slid in, won the ball right in front of Anthony Taylor, and yet he gave a free kick. I don't know how that is a free kick. I just can't get my head around it. But I'm not going to sit here and complain about referees, because it's been a very, very good day for Arsenal. They were just superb in the first half. Some of the football they played going forward, West Ham just could not cope with them. The space that the wingers got, Trossard pulling over to the left-hand side, Saka ran riot. What a day for him in the first half. 1 goal, 2 assists, 1 a penalty, all in the space of 45 minutes. His superb form continues. That's 10 assists now for Bukayo Saka in the Premier League this season. We're not even in December yet. I mean, it's just unbelievable what he is doing. He tormented West Ham all night. Martin Odegaard was pulling the strings in the first half. His little lofted pass over to Saka in the build-up to Trossard's goal was worth the entrance fee alone for all of the Arsenal fans who travelled down there, who've just had a brilliant evening in East London yet again, singing non-stop, enjoying themselves, taking the mick out of the West Ham fans. It's becoming a regular occurrence at this place. So really good from Arsenal. They flew out the blocks. You could see they were coming. I think the first few minutes West Ham tried to press and stuff like that, but Arsenal then just got through the press, and then there was just a long sustained period of possession for Arsenal deep in West Ham territory. It didn't lead to anything, but it just shifted the dynamic of the game, and suddenly Arsenal were on top. And then that man, Gabriel, who else, popped up from a set piece. It was a different set piece this time. Usually you see all the gathering at the back post that Arsenal do, but like against Sporting, for example, midweek, Gabriel stayed in the centre of that. He didn't get involved in that gathering at the back post. Today it was different. He went to the very, very back of it all. So he was the furthest player away from Bukayo Saka as he got ready to take the corner. And then Saka swung it in. Gabriel made the run from really, really deep beyond the far post to the near post, unmarked totally. West Ham just didn't track him, glanced in his header, 1-0. It's just a familiar story, isn't it, with Gabriel? So many goals, constantly, just such a threat in the air, and West Ham just did not pick him up, which is criminal, really. You can't afford to do that with Gabriel. So that was 1-0, and then it was 2-0 soon after. A brilliant, brilliant flowing Arsenal move. As I said, Saka was involved. He laid it to Odegaard, and that lofted ball over the top, the sort of scoop pass from Odegaard. It was just brilliant. Saka got in. I think Saka was trying to square it for Havertz. He overhit it a little bit and he got away with it because Trossard was there to tap it in to make it 2-0 anyway. So another assist for Saka. That was 2-0. 3-0 followed pretty soon after. I'm actually trying to remember on the top of my head who scored the third goal. Now, it was a penalty, wasn't it? Saka again got down the right-hand side, just dinked his way into the area, beat a couple of men, got tripped. Clear penalty. Odegaard took it. It looked like Saka was going to take it. He was standing holding the ball, but then he handed it over to Odegaard. He scored his first goal since his return to make it 3-0. It was 4-0 about a minute later or 2 minutes later. Brilliant pass from Trossard. I thought had a really good half. Won the ball. Ball got turned over. Found Trossard. I think it was Odegaard who might have turned it over. Found Trossard. Brilliant ball over the top for Trossard to Havertz, who just raced clear, really composed from Havertz. He's not, sometimes when he goes through one-on-one, you're not really sure if he's going to finish or not, but he never looked like missing this one. He was very composed. It was on his left foot, which is important. He just bent it past Fabianski, 4-0. I think that was on the 34th minute. It was 4-0. Unbelievable stuff. But then, as I said, West Ham just got those 2 goals that came into the game. That got themselves into the game, and this place, from being just quiet and dejected, suddenly they were up and they were sensing this remarkable comeback. They had a free kick. I think they had a free kick just after they made it 4-2 as well. That kind of, you thought, oh my God, if this goes in, it's going to get really, really nervy. But then Arsenal got a really important goal just before half-time. I think there was 5 minutes of stoppage time because there were so many goals and stuff like that in the first half, and Arsenal got a penalty. Fair play to Anthony Taylor for this as well, because you don't see these sort of things given all the time. But the corner was coming, Gabriel went to get it, won the header, and Fabianski just cleaned him out, punched him square in the head. You know, Arsenal players immediately appealed for it. You weren't sure if Anthony Taylor was going to give it, but he did. And it was a penalty. Fair play to Anthony Taylor for giving that, because you don't always see them given. And it was Saka who tucked this one away to make it 5-2, and just an unbelievably remarkable first half. Second half was one of those games when there's been so many goals in the first half and a team so on top that you often see a second half just can't quite match that, and Arsenal just went through the gears. There was a lot of substitutions. Gabriel didn't come on for the second half. Whether, I haven't been down to the press conference yet, I don't know if that was as a result of the being punched in the head basically by Fabianski. I hope there's no sort of concussion, because if there is, that could rule him out of the game against Man United, but I just hope there was nothing like that. But he didn't come out for the second half. Kivior came on. Calafiori then went off quite early in the second half as well. Zinchenko came on. If that's an injury issue as well, that's a bit of a worry. There was no Thomas Partey for Arsenal, although he was here. He did travel. He got off the coach, but he wasn't involved in the starting lineup. Arsenal saying he's got a muscle injury, and there was no Mikel Merino either. Arsenal saying he's got a knee problem, so that's a concern. Then to lose Gabriel and to lose Calafiori as well, the season of injuries just never stops, really, does it, when it comes to Arsenal? And I think those subs kind of just halted the flow of the game a little bit. West Ham made some themselves. They couldn't quite get themselves back in it, though. Arsenal held them at arm's length pretty well. I thought Zinchenko was good when he came on, actually. I'll go through my player ratings in a bit. There was more subs as the game wore on. Jesus came on, Sterling came on. Both of those went close. Sterling put a free kick just wide. Jesus put one into the side net. Almost worked himself into a shooting position a couple of times as well when Yeri came on right at the end. So it was just one of those sort of second halves where it was just substitution, stop start. Arsenal did their best to slow down the game. They know they've got another big week coming up, Manchester United on Wednesday night, and they just couldn't live up to that high octane, thrilling first half that we saw. And in the end, it was a bit of a snooze fest, to be honest. The second half, it just couldn't live up to what we'd seen in the first half. But Arsenal were quite happy with that. They went over to their away fans over there at full time, celebrated once again here at the London Stadium, and it's been a really good week, isn't it? They've scored 26 goals now in the Premier League. Arsenal are the joint top scorers in the Premier League, and this is a team that everyone said struggled to score. And yes, they've played one more game than the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea who play tomorrow, but they're the top scorers in the Premier League now. They're scoring goals again, which is great. We saw it last season, the second half season, how many goals they scored, and now we're finding that again. They scored 5 in midweek against Sporting. It's just been a really good week. I said it after the international break, they needed to find some momentum, but it's not just the momentum, it's the performance, I think, which has been really, really good. They were great against Notts Forest last week at the Emirates. Really enjoyed that performance, and they were brilliant at Sporting in the Champions League in midweek, and they came flying out the blocks here again. Brilliant in the first half, absolutely tore West Ham to shreds, and that's just such, you can feel the momentum. And I think just looking at the celebrations at full time in front of the away end as well, they just look like they've got that sort of glint in their eye a little bit again, Arsenal. They can feel it. It's been a really tough start to the season, difficult start to the season with all the issues that they've had to deal with. But now it just feels like they're finding their feet, they're finding their groove, and they're looking like that Arsenal side that we saw tearing teams to shreds last season at will in the second half of it. So fingers crossed that can continue, because we've got another massive game coming up now. Wait and see what the injuries issues are ahead of the Man United game on Wednesday night. But Arsenal have got a little bit of time now. They'll have a rest day tomorrow at London Colney, then they'll go back to have a proper session on Monday for the first time. They'll assess the injuries, we'll see how they are, and hopefully they can just continue on this sort of vein of form when Man United rock up to the Emirates on Wednesday night. Okay, player ratings wise, now you're going to have to just apologise for me sort of looking at my screen here, because I want to make sure I remember what I gave all the players today. David Raya, 7 out of 10, solid game for him, nothing with the goals, but I thought he did everything that he needed to do pretty well. He was a spectator for large parts. But yeah, solid enough performance for David Raya, gave him a 7. Timber, another strong performance, 7 out of 10 for him. Down the right, got forward well to support the attack, made a couple of really important blocks at times. Just loved Jurriën Timber. Just think he was really, really strong again today. Saliba I gave 7, made one really good block late on in the second half, actually, where West Ham were threatening. Maybe that's a over-exaggeration when I say threatening, but they were looking for a third goal, and he made a good block in that. I think it was from Danny Ings late on. He did make a mistake, or almost, he tried to cut out a through ball after that, and he sort of slowed the ball down, and that allowed Ings to get it, and he went round Raya, but he put his shot wide of the far post. So yeah, but I gave him a 7. I gave Gabriel an 8. He was only on the pitch for 45 minutes, but what an eventful 45 minutes that was for Gabriel. Scored a goal, then won a penalty, replaced at half-time. Hopefully it's not a concussion, but he's just such a threat. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows what he's going to do. Everyone knows that he is the threat that you've got to stop from set pieces, but teams can't do it. When he gets on a run like he does, he's just so powerful, he's so intense, he just makes a beeline for that ball, and you just can't stop him. It's such a threat for Arsenal. Calafiori I gave a 6. Caught a bit square for the Wan-Bissaka goal. I know it was Trossard who let Wan-Bissaka get in off him, but I was looking at Calafiori's sort of body shape for that goal. I don't think he'll be too happy with that when he sees it, and the coaching staff will be too happy with that. He was replaced in the second half. We'll wait and see if that was an injury issue for him or not, but I gave him a 6 out of 10. Midfield, Jorginho is in obviously because Thomas Partey's injury. Gave Jorginho 7, solid for him. Brought in, performed well in the absence of Thomas Partey, especially in that first half. He was moving the ball around nicely. Second half, it was cruise control, obviously. Gave him a 7. I enjoyed Declan Rice's performance. He's finding his form again, Declan Rice. That was clear. You could see him, he was popping up all over the pitch here today. His fitness looks good as well, which is the important thing when it comes to Declan Rice, because it was late on in this game. You could still see out of everyone, he was the one sort of driving forward and getting forward to support the attack as well, which I think is a really crucial thing when it comes to Declan Rice, because when he's fit and when he's healthy, just has that extra yard that maybe we haven't seen so far from him this season. But I thought he was good today. Gave him a 7 out of 10. Really harshly penalised for that free kick that led to West Ham's second goal. Never a free kick. Odegaard, 8 out of 10. Brilliant in that first half when Arsenal were just running riot. The lob pass, as I said, was just a joy to watch, that lob pass for him. Scored his first goal back as well from the penalty spot, which is great for his confidence as well. So I gave Martin Odegaard an 8 out of 10 in attack. Bukayo Saka, what can you say? As I said, in that opening 45 minutes, a goal, 2 assists, 1 a penalty, just tormented West Ham. Absolutely tormented them. Every time he got the ball, they were scared of him. They were backpedaling, carried on in the second half. They were kicking him in the second half. I was glad that Arteta took him off when he did, because they were kicking him, seems to be targeting him and Odegaard a little bit. But yeah, brilliant from Bukayo Saka, 9 out of 10 for him. Kai Havertz, 7 out of 10, as I said, really composed finish. Excellent play in the build-up to Saka winning the penalty as well from Havertz. So yeah, gave him a 7 out of 10. Trossard, his return to form continues, which is great and really, really important. I thought he was really live in that first half. He was running at Wan-Bissaka a lot as well, which was good. I think it was a sign of his confidence. You know, he wasn't just moving the ball on. Got himself a goal. Brilliant assist for Kai Havertz's goal as well. So I gave Trossard an 8. Substitutions, as I said, Kivior came on at half-time for Gabriel. Had a comfortable 45 minutes work. To be fair, gave him 6 out of 10. Zinchenko I liked. I thought Zinchenko played well. He was lively. He was popping up all over the pitch. I thought he played really well when he came on against Sporting in midweek, and I thought he played well again today. Gave him 7 out of 10. Enjoyed Zinchenko's cameo, and I've said it many times, you know, if Arsenal are going to have a good season, you need players like Zinchenko, these squad players, to step up and perform. And he's showing some good signs at the moment, Zinchenko. Who knows, if Calafiori's injured, he might be needed in midweek against United. Jesus and Sterling came on for the last sort of 16 minutes, gave them both sort of 6 out of 10. Both of them did threaten. Sterling put a free kick wide. Jesus had a chance which put in the side netting. There was one when Sterling played him in where it looked like he just worked himself into a shooting position, but the West Ham defender got his foot to it and knocked it out as it looked like he was going to shoot. So gave those two both 6 out of 10 as Wanyeri came on, and we're not going to mark Wanyeri, is just on for the last few minutes. And that's it from the player ratings from the London Stadium. I'm going to head off now, make my way back home through East London with that familiar feeling from this place of a nice, convincing Arsenal win, and we can just sit back tomorrow and watch Manchester City versus Liverpool at Anfield. Still feeling like a draw is the result I want from this. Arsenal now 6 points behind Liverpool. Obviously moved ahead of Manchester City for now. They're in second place in the Premier League table. 3 wins from 3 in the space of 7 days. 13 goals scored. Arsenal are finding their form again. From the London Stadium, it's finished West Ham 2, Arsenal 5. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow to do the usual full in-depth review show. You want to get involved in that show, you know what to do. Give me your comments, give me a standout performance, your highlights, the players impressed you, maybe who didn't. Let me know, I'll pull something together and get them included in tomorrow's show. Until then, have a good one. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.